Hello, everyone, and welcome to Awakening Spiritual Intelligence. Today's theme is Higher Self. I am Pauline. I'll be our tech host for today, and I'll hand it over now to Yosi Amram, our host. Take it away, Yosi.
Okay, thanks, Pauline. Thank you so much for organizing all of this and welcome, welcome. Thank you all of you precious selves that have gathered here. And it's kind of delightful to see that we got people coming from different communities, different sub communities that we're all part of, but we're really part of this one giant community, human family of souls that are interested in awakening greater spiritual intelligence in ourselves and the world. And, so there are many selves here. And while it seems like there's only one of me, there's really many of me's, all of them inside this one of me. And no, it's not that I'm schizophrenic or have multiple personalities, but inside myself, and I think inside most of us, I suspect there are many, many parts, many sub-personalities. And so, at least within myself, I'm gonna name and touch a few of the characters just so they don't feel left out. There's the mischievous jokester, there's the serious and driven entrepreneur that is mostly retired these days, although from time to time they poke their head and they drive me or get me inspired to start some new initiative. Then there's the silly and playful inner child, and then there's the leadership coach and the therapist, the parent, the shy one, the conceited and the arrogant one, the spiritual seeker, and so on. So you could just touch into many of the parts within yourself as well and welcome them, welcome all of them, as all of you is welcome here. It's good to move into that inner wholeness where we welcome everything and allow everything to be and see how it's all part of this oneness and every part has its contribution to make. So, depending on the context and the role we play, uh, one part may come into the foreground and take the lead role, take the driver's seat, if you will. And it's good because it makes us more fluid and adaptable to different situations. So on vacation, we want the playful, spontaneous one to be in the foreground, and the taskmaster, the doer, maybe can retire or fade into the background. Although all of a sudden there might be something that happens and we need to call on them back even while we're on vacation. So, really, we are like a conductor and we have this symphony of players with their unique instruments. And to create a beautiful symphony or music, we want all the parts to play their role. It's just want to make sure that they're balanced and called forth at the right moment. So I'm talking about all of this and the parts. And in recent years, it's gotten a lot more popular with systems like IFS, internal family systems, with Richard Schwartz. It's been around in the field of psychology longer than that, with psychosynthesis and other modalities that look at us as the multiplicity. And I think that's a richer, more inclusive way to approach ourselves and creates more tolerance and acceptance within ourselves and within others. The more we accept these qualities and characteristics within ourselves, the more we can accept and see them in others. And that makes us just that much more accepting and embracing of others around us. Now, all of this is by way of context because today we're going to focus on one part that lives in many of us or in all of us, and that's what you might call your higher self or your wise inner being. And basically, within each of us, there is that inner wise one that we can tune into and listen to for guidance. And that's what today's session is focused on, is how to cultivate that and let it develop and grow. And the more we come into relationship with this part, the more readily it is available there for us to draw on. This is the part that Jung described as the uh, wise one, the wise man, or the wise woman inside, basically that embodies this archetypal energy. And archetypes are these qualities, or you can think of them as Platonic ideals or forms, if you want to think about it that way, that live in the collective unconscious or consciousness, but they are universal across all cultures and traditions. So the wise one may be come into expression in the Greek mythology as Athena. In the Hindu traditions, it might be Krishna or Saraswati. And in more modern times, we see that character, if you will, or that energy as Yoda in Star Wars. So, all these archetypal energies dwell in our unconscious. We may not be aware of them, but they're latent in their potential, and they can come forth in dreams and myths and stories, and we can develop a more conscious relationship with them, and that's what we're trying to do today, so we can access it more readily when we need them. So, the point is that with some training and cultivation, the wisdom of this higher self, we can learn to tap into the force, as Yoda puts it. So, use the force, Yoda tells us. So, we want to use the force of this higher self. And this higher self is none other than the aspect of our being that is intimately connected to our divinity, which really permeates all of existence, part of the oneness. So in other words, when we connect it to this higher self, we are basically tapping into the vast evolutionary power and intelligence of all reality, that which animates and sustains all life. And so it's, I think one of the famous Aikido teachers said that when they are centered, they are connected to the center of the universe. And when they're connected to the center of the universe, basically the whole energy and power and force of the universe is working through them. So that makes them undefeatable. So I know for many of us it might be a stretch to feel the whole energy and power of the universe channeling through us. It's so much energy, may not be able to contain it. But anyway, but just kind of I'm suggesting that when we connect to this higher self or the divine spark within, then in a sense we're connected to the evolutionary intelligence and love that animates all reality. And when we're connected there, obviously we have a lot more power and wisdom that we may not be aware of when we're in our normal egoic personality. So this gives us access to wisdom and insights that far beyond our normal self. Um, Now, we can imagine this thing as some energy that's hard to describe, that has no image, or there are many other ways of accessing this archetype. And it could be imagining a dialogue with a grandparent or a spiritual teacher, enlightened being. It could be, the Dalai Lama or the Buddha or anybody else, that a mentor, a teacher that for you represents that wisdom and that insight. And we can then cultivate this dialogue relationship with them. And over time, the more we're in conversation with them, we get the transmission of their energy and insight. Then we internalize them, we introject them, and then they become part of our psyche that's available for us. So, so as I said, there are many ways to access this energy, this insight, and we'll do an exercise practice today, and you could use your own. I'll give you a few options, but one of my favorite that sometimes people are, oh, I don't know who I consider wise, and I'm not really into any particular spiritual teachers or gurus or whatever. One thing that I find in working with clients that's really powerful and much more accessible to most is to imagine entering a conversation with our future self. And, and this is the self that we aspire to be 10 years hence. And usually when my clients or people face dilemma and they're lost between all the values and conflicting objectives they have, and feeling overwhelmed, one of my favorite questions is like, okay, what do you imagine yourself 10 years from now, 15 years from now, that's been successful, that has lived through this challenge, telling you is important, and how they got through it. And immediately I could see their energy and their whole demeanor of approaching the problem shifts because they get that wider, broader perspective. And the advantage of entering a conversation with our future self is that the self we aspire to be is, as we do that, we start to embody that energy, and that future self accelerates, and the future and the present come to meet each other. So our future self comes to meet our present self, and the two of them kind of meld into one, and then we start to embody more of that future self sooner than otherwise we would have happened. So, we'll do this exercise practice, and I'll invite each of you to contemplate what are the qualities you're working on cultivating in yourself that you aspire to express and embody in the future. And so those could be whatever qualities are attracting you, whether it's confidence or joy or love or courage or presence or centeredness or groundedness or uh, anything really, whatever your heart desire that comes in, that the future that's calling you, can be the self you want to express. Maybe it's the enlightened version of you that if you're seeking enlightenment in this lifetime. Now, this all may sound esoteric, but in fact, research has shown empirically that when people enter a conversation with their future self, they increase their resourcefulness, competence, and confidence in the present situation they're dealing with, and it has a lasting effect beyond just the dilemma that we're facing. So the more we're in relationship to this future self, this higher self, the more it starts to permeate our being, and we become it and become one with it. And I think that's kind of cool. So, okay, so I see there's a question in the chat. What is this energy? Okay, let me see. What if I can tap into this energy, and maybe you can all do that with me here. This energy of wisdom. Well, I mean, I feel it as a vast holding presence. It's very quiet and still and spacious, but also powerful. So it feels both empty and spacious, but also palpable and full. Um, and it's kind of like very alive. It's dynamic, but quiet. So there's a quiet power. It's almost, for me, feels like the power of being immersed deep in the deep waters at the floor of the ocean. And the waves are powerful, but they're very slow and gentle. And it has that quality of power and gentleness and quietness all at the same time. Anyway, this is what's coming to me at the moment. And feel free to type in the chat what it was like for you or anybody who has that thing. At other times, I think this energy can feel more like bright light, like there's a brilliancy to it, there's a clarity to it. It's kind of like a very clear uh, day with blue sky. Some days you just feel the transparency and the brilliancy of the sky and the clarity and things are very very clear. So anyway, I think that's enough for now, perhaps, and let's maybe some quotes from clients in my research will help shed some more light about how different people think about and access these qualities. So, for my doctoral research, I interviewed 71 teachers and leaders across all the world's major tradition, from Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, shamanism, Taoism, etc., and about how they embody their spirituality. These are people that were nominated by their peers as people who walk the talk and live and express their spirituality and quality and spiritual qualities in daily life. And from that, I distilled these 22 universal qualities across all the traditions that, regardless of their theology and cosmology, they speak of the same qualities of purpose, service, trust, integrity, humility, compassion, and so on. But not only did they speak in the abstract, but they talked about how they show up in their life and in real cases. So I'm going to share a few quotes from those interviews. So one person said, "I receive wisdom from my higher self by quieting my habitual thinking mind and listening to the whisper of the small, still voice in my heart." So you can tune into the stillness of your own heart at the center of your chest and see if there's any guidance that comes from there. Another subject said, in difficult moments, to gain guidance, I used to imagine a conversation with one of my spiritual teachers, my guru, so to speak. Over time, I have internalized their wisdom and absorbed their energetic transmission. So I can just tune into that channel, that frequency, which has become my inner guru. It is always alive, present, and available within me. Another person said, "My greatest wisdom comes from my higher self, which is my deepest self. It is that sacred spark of the divine that lives and animates all of us. And it is the intelligence that is responsible for the evolution of our universe and of life. This intelligence is far greater than my own. When I listen and follow it, I'm swimming down in the flow of the river of life as I am aligned with divine will." Yoda calls this the Force. But anyway, that's my way of translating these different systems. Another person said, when I can shift my identity from the small egoic self, the separate me, to the larger cosmic organism of which I am but a cell, that some refer to as the capital S self or God, I naturally take the widest holistic perspective. That is the wisest and best way to serve the greater whole and fulfill the mission and contribute the gifts of my unique individual self. So, as you can see just from these four interview quotes, different people are coming at it slightly differently, but they're all connecting to something larger than themselves, higher and deeper. Um, and that gives them access to resources, insight, and wisdom beyond what our normal cognitive mind can do. So, I think I'm going to keep my talk today relatively short, and hopefully the proof will be in the pudding. I think the value of this is really not the theoretical understanding, but the practice and exercising these muscles. So we want to exercise this higher self muscle, and so we can do some bodybuilding into embodiment of our higher self. So, Pauline and I will be introducing and demoing the exercise, which, like in many other of our sessions, we will put you in a breakout room with one other person. And the two of you will get to know each other and support each other. And I think our objective is both to um, support you in doing the exercise, but also connect with other like-minded individuals. So I hope that all makes sense. So, Pauline, when you're ready,
Yes, I am looking forward to explaining and demoing our exercise today. And Yosi and I will go through it. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. And also, maybe after we go through the bulk of the instructions, that I'll open it up for questions or logistical comments. All right. So we do have some slides to help explain what we'll be doing. And also, I'm going to be putting in the chat some of the wording for the questions. But also, Yosi's voice is going to be coming through the speaker into your breakout room. So he'll be able to guide us in terms of when it's time to switch to the next question, for example. So you won't have to worry about keeping track of time or anything like that. Okay, so let me share our instructions. So as Yosi mentioned, you'll be in a breakout room with one other beautiful being today, and you'll each have a minute to introduce yourselves. And next, we're going to go into some repeating questions. And this is to help us create this vision of the higher self, which is maybe the future self that you aspire to become. So do you want to start demoing the questions and go through this live?
yeah, great. So in this case, I am going to be, so there'll be two of you and you'll switch roles, but Pauline and I are going to demo it one way where I'll be, quote unquote, what is referred to as person A here, which is the first one asking the question. Um, so there'll be this repeating question that you'll be asking for 3 minutes. We won't do the full 3 minutes here, but just to give you uh, a flavor of what we're doing. Okay, so Pauline, you ready?
Yes, but before we get started, this is just a note that you will be taking notes. So whoever's asking the question, you're going to be just recording the list of the qualities that the speaker is sharing every time you ask this question. Because at the end, you're going to read back the list. So we'll demo that too. And you'll see, hopefully, you have a little notepad, whether it's on your computer or physical, to record my answers. Not the whole answer, just the quality. Because there's going
Yes.
to be a second part to this. You'll see in a second, but there's two repeating questions.
Thanks, Pauline, for keeping us on track and keeping.
So with that said, I am ready to answer.
Okay. Tell me one of the qualities you aspire to cultivate, embody, and express in your future self.
I aspire to cultivate patience.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the next step is actually you say thank you, and then there's a second part of the questions here.
What's it like to name and imagine this?
Naming that, I notice I'm more aware of my body and like whether I'm resting into my seat or not. It's like I'm letting myself slow down.
Thank you. Tell me one of the qualities you aspire to cultivate, embody, and express in your future self.
I aspire to cultivate greater compassion.
Thank you. And what is it like to name and imagine this?
I feel a little warmth in the center of my chest. There's a sense of softening or like a tenderness coming up. Almost a quality of sadness, but it's held in this like warm generosity feeling.
Thank you. Tell me one of the qualities you aspire to cultivate, embody, and express in your future self.
I aspire to embody joyful spontaneity.
Thank you. And what is it like to name and imagine this?
There's a little bit of inner tension I'm noticing because there's that like judgment voice of, oh, I don't have this now. And I'm sort of like revealing that it's something I want that I feel like I don't have. So holding that, but also noticing that there's a quality of like aliveness that I'm leaning into. Um, yeah, it feels like my posture wants to straighten and I have an impulse to dance a little bit. So that's there.
Thank you. So you'll be doing this for 3 minutes, and then if you're asking, you just wrote these qualities that the speaker has named. So now, uh, the qualities I heard your future self expressing, Pauline, the qualities I heard your future self expressing is patience, compassion, and joyful spontaneity. What do you imagine life looks and feels like with you embodying these qualities?
And I believe that there was a little bit more guidance. Just if you want to read
Yeah.
that from the hidden notes, Yosi.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, just in this moment, it's a chance for me before I start speaking to really tap into what it feels like when Yosi names those qualities that I'm aspiring to embody.
Yeah, thanks for being spontaneous and keeping track of all this stuff. And being patient. You are being patient anyway. Uh, that's me being silly. But so I think the thing is the as you hear these qualities reflected back to you, take a moment to close your eyes and simply visualize and imagine this future self, this future Pauline taking shape and form in your embodied lived presence right now. and give them permission to occupy your body if you're willing. Imagine them rising out of your torso, your lower belly, womb, or your heart space.
Hmm. Thank you. Yeah, so when I imagine what it's like to express and embody those qualities, I feel a sense of relief. Like I can rest into those qualities, and there's a trust that, the pace of life will just flow naturally, and I'll be able to meet the difficult moments with patience and with the joyful spontaneity, which I'm sensing is like a creative, just a real willingness to meet whatever arises. Can you remind me what the second quality was? Oh, compassion.
Compassion, yeah, was patience, compassion, and
Yeah.
joyful spontaneity.
Yeah, the compassion just really feels like tenderizing, and I can feel again this trust where I have faith that even through the difficult times, I'll be able to hold myself with compassion and really just rest into that knowing.
Okay, thank you. So imagine that was 2 minutes. So you're going to have 2 minutes to describe this image as you imagine your future self coming alive, coming online with these qualities that the person who was asking reflects back to you. And the new you is being born in your womb, in your belly, in your heart. And then you'll switch roles. Now we're going to skip that just in the interest of time.
Exactly. But we'll pretend that then we switch. So I was reading the questions to Yosi. And so after you've both had a chance to do all of these steps where you're doing the repeating questions and then the reflection, then we will go into Yosi leading us through a guided meditation.
Yeah, so having given you this image of your future self, I'll be guiding you through a meditation. First, we'll calm and clear the mind so that we can more enter this imaginative realm. And this is kind of based on a Jungian approach of active imagination. And in this, I will guide you as if you're walking through a beautiful meadow. It could be a meadow you've been to, it could be a meadow you create in your mind's eye, and then through a forest that will darken, and eventually you'll come to a clearing where the light breaks through the thickness of the canopy of the trees, and there you will meet your higher self. And so it's up to you. If you, my invitation is that that higher self will be the shape of the future self that you have kind of helped sculpt and envision, or it could be, you know, a guru, it could be a grandparent, it could be Yoda, it could be any of the other alternatives of what would be your higher self. Could be some angel coming down, whatever it is, or maybe it's just that still small voice in your heart that you are able to tune into. So that's what we'll be doing, and you'll be encountering that higher self in the middle of the clearing, and you'll enter a conversation with them, sharing with them whatever dilemma or situation you're wrestling with at the moment. You'll listen to their feedback, their guidance, their suggestions. You'll ask some questions to clarify, and then at some point you will say goodbye, and head back through the forest into the meadow, knowing that you can always return here and encounter and lean on them and draw on their wisdom. And then you'll be just imagining yourself sitting in the meadow and reflecting on what the experience was. And hopefully you'll have some notes. You could journal about what you learned, what the experience was like. Uh, what was your higher self like? What did they look like? What did it feel like to be in their presence? And what do you imagine it's like being them? So, and then you can sort of capture all of that in your journal. Um, so, and then, so both of you in the breakout room will be doing this part together. And then, at the end of that, which will take about 15 minutes, you will each of you will take turns again. We'll spend 3 minutes um, recounting this experience and essentially what you wrote in your journal, and share that with your partner. And then you'll switch roles, and then the other person will have 3 minutes to share their experience and answer to these questions. And then, after each of you has done the 3 minutes exploration and sharing, then you'll have open conversation between the two of you for about 2 minutes, discussing the experience and debriefing with each other, thanking each other before we'll all come back to the larger room. And yeah, we'll have a large group share and we'll all discuss this further.
And in case you're watching this as a recording or you want to come back and do this later with the recording, we do have another set of instructions for doing this as a solo exercise. So it's pretty much the same. You just get to journal with these sentence stems, really tapping into your in the moment experience as you're journaling. And the guided meditation will be part of the recording as well. So once you get to step 3, that's your invitation to actually listen to and follow along with Yosi's meditation. And then you'll finish up with the same journal questions that we'll do here in the group, which is just reflecting on what was that like to encounter your higher self.
Yeah, thanks, Pauline. Just to elaborate on what you're saying. So when you're doing it as a dyad, one person is asking the question and then you're prompting and answering. If you're doing it on your own, if you can find a partner to do this with you, great. If not, you're just doing it at your own leisure. Then you write a sentence stem here. One of the qualities I aspire to cultivate, embody, and express in my future self is, and you write it out. And then the next sentence stem again is naming and imagining this I experience, and so on. So you're just prompting yourself with these sentence stems. I hope that's clear.
Okay, so I'm going to see if there are any questions on the process of the exercise before we get into actual in the room logistics.
Questions, comments, or all of this is clear, or you're all connected to your higher self and you're getting all the guidance you need.
Okay, so I think it seems like we're ready to start talking about logistics for our breakout rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and then the next thing on the recording will be the guided meditation for anyone who's doing this at home on your own. All right, we'll see you on the other side.
And now we're going to move into the guided meditation for everyone. So you can begin by just finding a comfortable posture, seated or standing. Perhaps more comfortable is seated, letting your spine align vertically, supporting relaxation and alertness. Feet flat on the ground. And I will be guiding you first to calm the mind, and then we'll go through the encounter with the future self. So begin by feeling, sensing, and tapping, wiggle tapping the big toe in your left foot on the floor. And now wiggle tap the right hand pinky on your lap. And wiggle tap the left hand pinky on your lap. And now wiggle tap the right big toe. And wiggle tap all toes. And wiggle tap all fingers. And wiggle tap all fingers and toes together. Sensing the hands, the feet, the arms, and the legs. Breathing up and down the spine, inhaling from the base up through the crown top of the head. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Releasing the jaw, releasing the tongue, releasing the shoulders. Sensing the pulsating flow of the blood through the arteries, the veins, and the heart. Sensing the entire body and the space all around it. Listening, allowing, receiving all sounds in the silent space underneath it all. Tuning into the heart center, the center of the chest, the back of the heart, the space between the back of the heart and the spine. And imagining on that screen or the space at the center of your chest, a beautiful, lush meadow. It could be a meadow you have been to or one that you create in your imagination. Notice if there's any elements of water, a stream or a pond in the meadow, any lush grass or flowers, any animals, butterflies, birds, cows, horses, whatever might be there. As you start taking a stroll, exploring the meadow on this clear, bright and warm, sunny day. As you walk through the meadow, you come to the edge where there's a beginning of a forest. And walking in through the trees, you notice that the density of the trees is getting thicker as you find yourself on a path, a winding path. Walking in, more and more of the sun is getting blocked. It's getting darker. You smell the bark of the trees. You hear the crackling of the leaves under each footsteps. Noticing if there are any living forms in the forest that you see. And just step by step, slowly meandering through this dark forest. Eventually, you find yourself coming to a circular clearing in the middle of the forest where the sunlight once again breaks through and shines on the opening. And you slowly and gently walk towards the center of the clearing as you see a wise being walking towards you from the other end. And let the image of this wise being, could be your future self or some other wise being that you are encountering. You slowly approach each other, meeting in the middle as they signal you to take a seat on one of the logs while they do the same. And take a moment to make eye contact, feeling an energetic connection between your lower bellies, a light connection through your hearts and the center of your forehead, your eyebrows, the head center. And just simply take a moment to notice what it's like to be in their presence, what their posture is like, what their energy is like, how they're holding themselves. And you can begin to describe to them a dilemma or a situation you are dealing with at the moment, and ask their input or advice of how to deal with it. And just listen, see what comes up, what response comes back to you. And you can ask him some clarifying questions. Any issues or trade offs you're dealing with. And you can ask him what are the key principles and values that are most important for you to uphold as you deal with the situation. And you can listen to what those principles and values are. And if there are any complexities, again, you can ask them for clarification. Take another moment or two to just continue to be in dialogue and enjoy and appreciate their presence. And in a minute, it will be time to wrap up, so you can ask any final clarifying questions. Knowing that you can always return here and draw on their support and wisdom. You can gently bring your conversation to a close as you nod at each other, standing back up, thanking them, and saying goodbye in whatever way feels most appropriate, whether it's sharing a hug or bowing, whatever feels appropriate. And as you wrap up your goodbye and appreciation, you can turn back to the direction of the clearing from which you came while they do the same. You each walk back into the thick forest. And you're walking back on the path as you came in, reflecting on what you heard, what you experienced, continuing to absorb the energy of the forest until you eventually come back out to the meadow and meander back to where you began, finding a comfortable position, seated. And you can now reflect on your experience of encountering your higher self. What did you learn? What was your higher self like? What do you imagine it's like being them? And what was it like to be in their presence? So you could take your journal and take a few minutes to just capture and take notes on this experience and what you've learned.
So, welcome back from the breakouts, everyone. We would love to hear how that experience was for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Uh, as you all notice, I kind of messed up one of the sequences. So my distracted, undisciplined self showed up, and it probably did because I didn't name it as part of the parts in my opening. So it had to show up. But I hope it wasn't too bad. So my apologies for that. But yeah, would love to hear whatever you are willing to share about your experience, what you learned. What was it like to be? Who was that higher self of yours? What was their energy like?
So I just imagined an old man, but then I realized it was Durga.
Uh-huh. It was Durga. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And her message for me was basically non-violence and patience. So things will fall in place. Just be patient. I was asking like how to be more disciplined, how to kind of, and she said, don't have to do anything. Almost like non-violence and patience are what came up.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. And how did it affect you when you heard that?
Softening.
Softening. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And as Susanna and I were discussing, the whole shift in perspective, like, oh, I have to fix this, from thinking about, oh, this is what I want to embody, it's really, really different. I mean, how to fix this doesn't work. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, this was a very different feeling. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, yeah. Okay. And what's it like now to share here in the group?
Uh, I don't know, I am very excited.
You're very
Yeah,
excited. Uh-huh.
yeah, sure. Energy is buzzing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The energy's buzzing. I see you pointing at your chest. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
locate it more? Is there?
It's a side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Up.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
Okay. And what do you see in the gallery as people receiving you?
uh I was too lost in myself, but yeah. Um thanks everyone. Yeah.
Okay. I see a lot of smiles, so you're being
Yeah.
received.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Stefano, you have your hand raised. Thank you. Go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I was delighted to discover something that, well, something new. Um, my wise being was strong, resolute, self-possessed, but also free of ego attachment.
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting is in the first part of the exercise, the qualities that I imagined for myself were all yin qualities: calm, presence,
Uh-huh.
wisdom. And when it got played back to me, I thought, well, that's only half of it. But
Uh-huh.
it's interesting that the what emerged was sort of the calming, dampening, let go of anxiety. And what really I had to complete, I had to actually say, wait, I'm not done. I want to be exploring. I want to be adventuresome. I want to explore with unbridled enthusiasm and
Uh-huh.
be surprised with wonder as to what happened. And I was so glad to have that side of me uh, express itself and notice that it's being actually there's kind of a now that I think about it, there's sort of a an irony that this sort of this spiritual discourse of calm and wisdom and so forth can have the unintended effect of suppressing, not just liberating. And
Uh-huh.
uh, what that says is, hey man, just go for it and trust the
Uh-huh.
process. And
Uh-huh.
if you're not calm and you're not wise, it's okay. So
It's
I
okay.
love how these two distinct parts of me had a
Uh-huh.
chance to play with each other.
Yeah. And how are they right now in your last minute or two of sharing? Are they here or not here?
Yeah, definitely. You heard it in my voice, the energy. Um, I'd say the bubbly, enthusiastic part is strong. Uh, and I have enough calmness. Like to me, you know what? I think that there's sufficiency and there's like things to maximize and things to have satisfice.
Uh-huh.
I'll satisfice on calm
Uh-huh.
and presence, and I'll maximize on adventure and discovery. And
Uh-huh.
that to me sounds like a great life for this next part of my life.
Uh-huh. Okay. And I'm noticing a lot of strength and power and conviction and passion right now. Is that, am I making
Yeah,
this up
yeah,
or is
no,
that real?
I'm definitely channeling that side of it now, and it feels good.
How is it to channel that in front of all of us here?
Oh, I'm comfortable. You know,
You're comfortable. Okay.
yeah, I've been in this territory a lot, and I really appreciate being in the presence of others who are witnessing it, and
Mhm.
I imagine you're cheering me on. I don't know if you are or not, but I'm going to imagine that because it's very.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And is there also, in addition to the excitement and the power, do you feel calm enough, as you said?
Yeah, but but calm is just not the word that fits. It's
Okay.
I think
Centered or
centered and grounded, and actually, a great word that just sprang up is resolute,
resolute?
a word I never used until
Uh-huh.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
And you're resolute and people are sticking around. They're not running away from you, huh?
You know what? They either stick around or they run away. That's really not my business.
Uh-huh. It's not your business, but it's also good to see that, you can be
Yeah,
received in your resolute
yeah,
state.
that's true. No, I know that when this is really about self-confidence and trust, trusting myself to be my own most loyal companion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Stefano. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
yeah, perfect.
Okay, great.
Yep, I'll stay on. I'll mute.
Anybody else? Amy, yes. Can't hear you. Can you unmute, please?
How's that?
That's good.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed the encounter with my wiser self a lot. Um, she felt just a kind of great mother like spaciousness and holding.
Uh-huh.
One of my words was loving kindness.
Uh-huh.
And that was the ground that I felt held in. So I really, I guess that's mostly yin, but I don't feel the need for the yang. I put it that way. I
Uh-huh.
have spent so much of my life in yang that this feels like, you know, it just feels like the right attitude to hold myself with. Uh, is the I used words like pleasure and unflappable.
Uh-huh.
Were the words that I was using to describe when I was asked about the feelings. So that feels nice. And I was surprised, I must admit,
Uh-huh.
at meeting her.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So unflappable and loving kindness. So you have strength
Yeah.
and you have something that's more soft, that's more holding.
Yeah, I guess unflappable. I guess it has some of that yang energy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And right now, are they both here?
I think so.
Uh-huh. So what's it like when they're both here at the same time?
Uh, Just want to smile a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good.
So there's joy, huh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's joy also that emerges with the loving kindness and the unflappable.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
And I'm seeing a lot of contentment.
Mhm. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Not a lot more to say.
Okay. Yeah. And also notice what happens to you in the presence of others that are in touch with their wise self, or however it is for them that feels authentic, whether it's resolute or unflappable or loving kindness or patience, or
Mm.
just somehow when people around us are in that place, we also relax. I know the effect on me is some kind of relaxation, a state of well-being.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that.
Yeah. No, I like it.
So we like being around people that are in this place. And we can all support each other in this, even though for each of us it looks a little differently. Okay. Anybody else willing to share? Yeah. Any shy parts want to speak up?
Okay. Shy part, being called out. Let's see. I was excited when I met. Oh, sorry, hold on.
There's an echo here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. We're good now.
We're good.
Sorry.
All right. Good.
Very dramatic. Entrance of the wise self. Yeah, when I met her, I was very inspired and very excited, just filled with this knowing that everything will be okay, that I'll be okay, and because she's okay, she's very okay. And knowing that she's guiding me. So when I struggle with an uncertainty, that's an illusion, because there is a knowing, an inner knowing, as this as I moved through this workshop and the meditations. As Anshul has mentioned, that there's this realization that I was focused too much on the negative and trying to fix what wasn't working, instead of naming what I want to embody, express, and cultivate. And once I put myself in that space, and naming grace, naming whimsy, joy, self-trust, and that immediately puts me in that space. And I am very grateful for realizing that this is it's happening, and this is the way that it happens, in order to embody the wise self. And so, yeah, I'm feeling very grateful, very happy. Thank you, Yosi and Pauline and everyone. I just want to say this is a great container that we have here, and thank you for encouraging my shy self, my shy part to express as well. There is a lot to say, but I do tend to hold back, and so thank you for
Yeah.
witnessing.
Yeah, sure. And as you express, what's it like?
God, you need to turn on your sound.
What was that?
Oh, wait. So, yeah, Nimrod and I are in the same space. So we're toggling microphones and speakers, and
I
you
see.
probably
Okay.
heard him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. So I was just curious, how was it like for you to share from this shy place? And
I see. What was
or let the shy one speak, or
very nerve-wracking, but relief and proud. I'm sort of feeling like little like sniffles and a little tingling in my eyes because tears want to come.
so you're being touched. Something is being touched.
Yeah, this braver side of me gets to come out and encouraged to come out, and it feels safe to come out, and yeah, it feels very vulnerable. But I'm yeah, relieved and happy that I'm stretching.
Yeah. So just take a look at the gallery view and see what's it like to let that courage come forward and have other people receive you. And yeah. So it's important to notice that you took the risk and you're surviving here. Or you're more than surviving. You're proud, and you're touched. So feel into the part of you that's being touched. What and where is being touched?
In there's this unknotting in my stomach, and in the sacral area, the pelvic floor area, there's also a loosening, unclenching, and expansion, and yeah, feeling a bit more grounded, and that self-trust is feels like I'm tapping into that.
Okay. So there's a relaxation, an opening, an expansion. Yeah. And how big are you now?
Pretty big.
Pretty big.
Bigger, definitely bigger than when we started at 11.
I don't know. My sense is that you're bigger than your body. You're like occupying the whole room there, at least, if not more. Your presence, your energy. I don't know if anybody else can sense that, but I just felt like, ooh, there's this whole field of presence around your body. Your presence is bigger than the boundaries of your body. Can you feel that? Or am I just hallucinating?
I feel that. Yeah.
You feel that? Okay.
Thank you, Yosi. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else here before we close? Anybody who hasn't spoken? Little swap of microphone. Good. Yeah, anything wants to be shared? You don't have to, of course.
I just
Yeah,
I want to
Stefano.
express, yeah, I want to express appreciation for you, Yosi, and your colleagues, but also that there's a space for this here and now. This is what the world needs to bring all of us back to what I call back to ourselves, our true selves. And
Yeah.
it takes effort to make the space and convene the group. And may we all support that and join you in doing that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted and honored, and we're in this together. So thank you for showing up and doing the work and reaping the rewards and the joy of doing the work. So that's a powerful intention to do this work and to show up in this deeper, authentic self, the wiser self. So speaking of this shared intention that we all have and what is created when we have this shared intention and create a field of that shared intention. Oops.
What
Wow,
a beautiful segue.
that was intended.
That was intentional.
That was
And
intention.
we would love to see you again. We do meet once a month. The next gathering is on the 28th, same time on a Friday, and it will be on the theme of intention. Anything you want to say further about that, Yosi?
No, I think I've said enough. I hope everybody has a great weekend and you can take what was cultivated here into your life and into our day-to-day living and embody and express and spread goodness and light and love and joy and peace, and the world needs it. We all need it. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone.